Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well. And peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity and in truth. I wanted to come with a quick sit down, just pointing out the fact that, in ancient times, you had these other nations making alliances to take us down as a nation. In particular, you had uh, the alliance of Edom and Ham, and you still see those alliances prevalent today. Uh, Esau uses the idols of Ham to induce us as a people to go off. Which, when I say us, I'm talking about the lost tribes, of Israel, which consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, Hamitic mythology, if you will, is embedded in Christianity, and also more blatantly speaking in the Black conscious community. You know, spiritually speaking, these different idols have always been a uh, a stumbling block unto our people, and has always influenced our people to go off. And those same idols are here today. It's just not as overt, you know, whether it be sacrificing your children for money, which is abortions and things of that nature. The Trinity, you know, which is goes back to the Egyptian mythology. All that came from the Hamitic culture, which culture just means a way of life. You see, So Esau is using uh, these Hamitic idols, you know, to basically put us uh, in captivity because we're not worshiping our true power. And also, historically speaking, you know, Esau and Ham has always came together, you know, to come against us in war. And you've seen that, in Second Chronicles, and also you've seen that recently speaking, you had these Hamites that sold us to our enemies, which is who Esau, man. So this is just a sit down going into how, spiritually speaking, Esau has always used the Medic culture in order to take us down, and also physically speaking, you had these different alliances that was put in place between Edom and the Hamites in order to take us down. So this is Psalms 83 and 2. Actually, let me start at 1 for you all. Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lift up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Now let's look up that word confederate, so we get a better understanding of that meaning. Let's see here. Excuse me, my computer's running a bit slow, but it says Barayath. Barayath. And that means a covenant, alliance, pledge between man, treaty, alliance, league, man to man, constitution, ordinance, monarch to subjects, agreement, pledge, man, to man, alliance of friendship, alliance of marriage between God and man, alliance, uh, covenant. And that's what you see being exemplified, you know, in the ancient world, in these scriptures, and also now. You have these other nations, they are capitalizing off of us being, you know, in a low state. There's actually a term called the middleman minority, which these minorities are used as a buffer between the upper class and the lower class. That's why when you go to a convenience store in your neighborhood, in the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American neighborhoods, who do you have there? Well, you have these Hamites there, these Cushites that's in your neighborhood. They have 7-Elevens in your neighborhoods. They have liquor stores in your neighborhood. They have gun stores in your neighborhood. They have pawn shops in your neighborhood. You see, all these people are capitalizing off of our captivity, if you will. You see, so you had these heathens. They had made a pact, with the so-called white man, or an alliance with the so-called white man, to keep us under subjection, to lie to us, to conceal who we are as a people. You see? Let's get back to the scriptures. This is Psalms 83 and 4. They have said, "Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagareans, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines of the inhabitants of Tyre, Ashur also is joined with them. They have hoping the children of Lot, Shalah, which is Ammon and Moab, you know, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Caesarea, as to Japan, and the brook of Kashan. And really, the point was in the latter. You had all these nations here that have set up to take us out as a people. You see, and in particular, you know, the Hamites, man. Or the Hamite culture is used as a means to take us down, man. You see. Now this is Revelations 11 and 8. And the dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom, and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. That's right. So where is this place talking about? Well, it's talking about Great Babylon, which we know to be here in America, man. America, pushes its the Western culture, if you will, on every nation on earth. In the name of democracy and freedom, things of that nature. But really, what it's doing is spreading, if you want to get technical, a Hamitic culture. You see, lemons live, which is Hamitic. That goes back to Egyptian, uh, the Egyptians. Homosexuality, you see, which goes back to what? Sodom. Uh, the legalization of the killing of children. You see, for presents and good luck, if you will. What does that go back to? Well, it goes back to the Hamitic culture. You see, and you see that prevalent here in America, man. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And those dead, what are those? Who dead bodies aren't put in a grave? Who dead? What what is this symbolically talking about? Well, it's talking about us being dead as a people, man. You see, you hear all the other nations. You see them. You see they're benefiting off of us being dry bones, if you will. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. That's right. So the fact that the Israelites are standing up for the true power were contrary to the heathens. They can't understand the will of the Heavenly Father is not for them. You know, particularly Hamites, they were made to be a rebellious generation, as we're going to read in Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter. You see, wicked people, also including the so-called white man. You see, they're totally contrary to the way of Heavenly Father. So there's going to be tension between us, the believers, people who understand, and also our people, man, because we're supposed to be following the will of the Heavenly Father, man. You see, so these Hamites and these Edomites, they have gone to great lengths into putting us under subjection, man. You see, now this is Wisdom of Solomon. I'll start at 1. This is talking about the Hamites, but you can equate this to what's going on now. Now, this is Wisdom of Solomon 12:1. For thine uncorrupted spirit is in all things. Therefore chastises them thou by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance wherein they have offended. They leaving their wickedness, that they may believe on thee, O Yahweh. For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of the holy land. And who were the old inhabitants of the old land? You had the Canaanites. When we came into the land of Canaan, we were ordered by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, to totally destroy the Canaanites because of their very wicked idols, you see. And the fact that we didn't completely destroy them, those idols became a stumbling block unto us, you see. And those same idols are still a stumbling block unto us, man. Verse 4, whom thou hatest for doing most odious works of witchcraft and wicked sacrifices, and also those merciless murderers of children, and devourers of man's flesh, and the feast of blood. And who is doing this now? Well, you have the Edomites doing this, but initially speaking, these are principles that came from Canaan, the Canaanites. Now you see abortion clinics in our neighborhoods. You see the meats that we eat. There's a strong possibility that it has human flesh in it. You know, these kids. You have kids that are going mission at an exponential rate. I was watching the elder Yashawambers sit down, and he was saying he actually said that that what 800,000 children go missing every year in the U.S. You know, that's very alarming. What's going on with the children where they're being sacrificed? You know, they're being molested, they're being raped. You know, you have pedophile rings. You know, across the world. All this came from Hamite culture, but it has been remixed, if you will, by the so-called white man. You see, and those same idols are used as a stumbling block unto our people. You know, to keep us under subjection, to keep us spiritually blinded. You know, verse 6: with their priests out of the midst of their idolatrous crew, and the parents that killed with their own hands souls destitute of help. That's right, killing their children, man. Our people were willingly doing that in the ancient world, you know, to receive filthy lucre, and they're doing this now, you know, but it's not as overt, you see. the so-called white man paints it as pro-choice, but really that's going in, these abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood, things of that nature. That's a hidden agenda for the so-called white man to keep us under our population under subjection, because the so-called white man, he's a natural homosexual, and so you see the death rates higher than their birth rates. They're dying out. You see, so he has to do. The so-called white man has to implement his witchcraft in order to stay on top, and our people are falling, in line with that wicked vibration. You see. Let's see, verse 7, that the land which thou esteemest above all other might receive a worthy colony of God's children. Nevertheless, even those that spares as man, and didst send was forerunners of thine host to destroy them little by little. And that's really on that. That's all I needed on that. Now I wanted to go to Chronicles, the 28th. Well, actually, I go to Ezekiel, and then I go to Chronicles to show in the scriptures how you had Edom and these Canaanites, in particular the Philistines, come against us, actually, in battle, making pacts with each other and coming against us in battle. Now, this is Ezekiel 25:12. Thus said Yahweh power, because that Edom has dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus said Yahweh power, I will stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, said Yahweh power. Therefore saith Yahweh power, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge, and have taken revenge with a deceitful heart, to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore thus said Yahweh power, behold, I will stretch out my hand upon the Philistines, and I will cut off the Cherethims, and destroy the remnant of the coasts, and I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am Yahweh when I shall lay Slakia my vengeance upon them. So there you see that Ezekiel is prophesying the downfall of Edom and the Philistines. And actually, if you read up in this chapter, he prophesied downfall of Moab and Edom, Moab and Ammon, excuse me, also, because they actually, historically speaking, took, made pacts, with Edom and also with the Hamites to take us down. But we want to focus on these two nations, the Edomites and the Philistines. You see. So let's go to Second Chronicles 28, and I'll actually start at 1 so we can get a historical background of what happened, and it'll flow into these Edomites and the Hamites come together in our time of distress and taking us down. Now this is Second Chronicles 28:1. Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, but he did not that which was righteous in the sight of Yahweh, like David his father. For he walked in the ways of the kings of Israel, and also made molten images of Baalim. Moreover, he burnt incense in the valley of the son of Hinnom, and burned his children in the fire, after the abomination of the heathen whom Yahweh by Shemiah had cast out before the children of Israel. So here you go. You have Ahaz, the son of David. What was he doing? Well, he was burning incense to uh, the in the valley of Hinnom. You see, worshiping Molech, and also he sacrificed his children. You see, and that goes back to what? That goes back to their Hamitic culture. You see, so that Hamitic vibration has always been a stumbling block unto our people. You see, and this is a beautiful account. Verse 4, he sacrificed also and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree, giving his vibration unto these wicked gods, man. Wherefore the Yahweh by Shemashah, his power, delivered him into the hand of the king of Syria, and they smote him and carried away a great multitude of them captives and brought them to Damascus. And he was also delivered into the hand of the king of Israel, who smote him with a great slaughter. So you actually had Israelites fighting against Israelites, you see, and actually bringing other Israelites, putting other Israelites into captivity, you know, which proves that, hey, the northern tribe are Israelites. Well, excuse me, let me refine myself. The Native American Latinos do consist of the northern tribes, man, of Israel. Because you have people out there that make the argument that says um they can't be Israelites because they had us in captivity. That was always going on. There was war in the midst of Israel, man. You see, we have to be very realistic when we read these scriptures, man. You know, hey, we're under the curses right now, so that's a prophecy. You know, the tender and delicate man will have a sore eye, loosely paraphrasing towards his brother. You see, and you see that being exemplified in the scriptures. Verse 6, for uh, for Pekah, the son of Remael, slew in Judah 120,000 in one day. That's a lot, man. 120,000, and that's the nation of Israel who did that. You know, did that to the north, to the southern tribes, man, to Judah, which were all valiant men, but they had forsaken Yahweh power of their fathers. And Zik 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 Zikshri, hopefully I'm saying it right. It's like your brother, I ain't saying it right. A mighty man of Ephraim slew Maaseiah, the king's son, and as Zekim, the governor of the house, and Elkanah, that was next to the king. And the children of Israel carried away captive of their brethren 200,000. That's a lot, man. Women, sons, and daughters, and took away much spoil from them, and brought the spoil to Samaria. But a prophet of Yahweh by Shemashah was there, whose name was Adad, and he went out before the host that came to Samaria, and said unto them, Behold, because Yahweh power of your fathers was wroth with Judah, he hath delivered them into your hand, and ye have slain them in a rage that reaches up unto heaven. So you had the northern tribe, but they were going hard on Judah, man. They weren't sparing Judah, you see. And you had that same tension, if you will, still going on here. But hey, a prime example of that. Look at Cali. Years ago, you had these Mexican mafia and things of that nature getting into the blood, getting into it with the Bloods and the Crips, and they totally wiped the Judah out, man. These are those Latin tribes. They were riding on Judah. You see, that's a small example, but you see you still see that tension going on today. You see, you had the northern tribe. They're heavy into idols. You see, and they worship Chesedek Borzur. They believe that they're white. They want to be white. You see, so they look down upon the southern tribe. Conversely, you have the southern tribe. They look down on the northern tribe. You see, calling them legal immigrants, wetbacks, telling them to go back to their land. That side with the so-called white man versus siding with the Latino man. You see, but nobody's pointing at the so-called white man as a problem, which is very ironic. But let's get back to the scriptures. Verse 10. And now ye purpose to keep under the children of Judah in Jerusalem for bondmen and bondwomen unto you, but are there not with you, even with you, sins against Yahweh your power? So you had did he cursed them out for being hypocrites. The northern tribe, he cursed them out for being hypocrites because they were worshiping the same gods. You see, which you could make if you want to get deep, you can make the same you can make that argument with a northern tribe, a so-called Latino or Native American worshiping Jesus. You can make the same argument that you know they're worshiping Jesus, but well, you want to look down on somebody who's so-called black conscious. Y'all worshiping the same God, man. You see, a Hamitic God that has nothing to do with the scriptures. So both, whether it be the northern tribe or the southern tribe, both of y'all are guilty, man. You see? Verse 11. Now hear me, therefore, and deliver the captives again, which ye have taken captive of your brethren, for the fierce wrath of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai is upon you. Then certain heads of the children of Ephraim, Azariah, the son of Johan, Berachia, the son of Meshiel Imath, and Jahezkiah, the son of Shalom, and Amasha, the son of Hadyah, stood up against them that came from the war, and said unto them, Ye shall not bring in the captives hither, for whereas we have offended against Yahweh, already ye intend to do more to our sins and to our trespass, for our trespass is great, and there is fierce wrath against Israel. So the armed man left the captives and the spoils before the princes and of the congregation. And the men which were expressed by name rose up and took the captives, and with the spoils clothed all that were naked among them, and arrayed them, and shod them, and gave them to eat and to drink, and anoint them, and carried all the feeble of them upon asses, and brought them to Jericho, the city of palm trees, and to their brethren. Then they returned to Samaria. At that time did King Ahaz, send unto the kings of Assyria to help. For again, now check this out, which, the so-called white man, he always capitalized off of us fighting against each other. You see, whether it be the northern tribe fighting amongst each other, or the southern tribe fighting amongst each other, or us fighting, or the two tribes fighting against one another, if I'm making sense. You always have Esau capitalizing off of us, battling one another. You see? Verse 17. For again the Edomites had come and smitten Judah and carried away captives. The Philistines also had invaded these cities of the low country and of the south of Judah, and had taken Beth Shemesh and uh, a a a Halan really, and uh, Gad Gad God Derath and Shoko with the cities thereof, and Timnah with the cities thereof, and Gimzah also with the cities thereof, they dwelt there. For Yahweh brought Judah low because of Ahaz, king of Israel, for he made Judah naked and transgressed sore against Yahweh by Shemi Al. That's right. So the fact that, spiritually speaking, you had the king Ahaz following after these Hamitic gods, you know what I'm saying? Not only there was eternal fighting, you know what I'm saying, against the northern tribe and the southern tribe, you had the Edomites and the Philistines that were able to capitalize and able to subdue the southern part of the land of Judah. You see, and you see that same pact, if you will, happen in recent times, man. The transatlantic, the transatlantic slave uh, uh, era, if you will. You know, who was in pact? Who was in lead? You had Edom, you had the Hamites, man. I'm saying they lead to take us down. You know, now spiritually speaking, you have the Hamites and the Edomites, you know, in alliance with one another, still taking us down, you know, by blinding us. You know, our people are giving their vibrations to a wicked idol, you know, black consciousness and things of that nature, which has been nothing but detrimental for you Negroes, man, for the northern tribes. I mean, slack for the southern tribes, you see? So, you know, most high willing, this is edifying. I I want to say I made the point. Most high willing, you know what I'm saying? You know, you brothers learn, you know, hopefully I wasn't all over the place. Yeah, most high willing was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh by Shemi Shah. Double honor to the apostles and the others that rule well, and peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity and also in the truth. Shalom.